Alright, hey YouTube, Skills here. In today's video, I want to talk about the main reason why crap got sunsetted. Now, it's been a year since, Beyond Light came out, and not just that, Shadowkeep, well, 2 years ago, Shadowkeep came out. And it was not much of an introduction. They introduced Champion and even Grandmasters, but they were kind of crap back in the time until they finally decided to add Adept Weapons in the Grandmaster scheme. So today I wanted to explain why everything almost got completely sunsetted. And I just will know the answer. You guess what I'm gonna say? Oh yeah, Pinnacle Weapons. Now, Pinnacle Weapons were introduced during Forsaken Era. So let's start off with the Crucible Weapons, okay? The Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten. Now, the Luna's Howl, it was ridiculous in its time. Now, you see, it's like a precision frame. It's precision frame. It was originally a 180 hand cannon, and then they nerfed it to 140. The same goes with Not Forgotten. They have the unique perk, except Not Forgotten has a better stat roll than Luna's Howl because, this one's more of a stability and the other one's more about range. Their ability is rapidly landing 2 shots increases the next shot damage and range for a short duration. Oh boy, I despise this perk so much. Basically, if you get two precision hits, headshots, basically the third one will be a guaranteed kill. So even if I'm at like 100 resilience, I'm still gonna get 3 tapped by the Luna's Howl. Oh, and same goes with the Not Forgotten. And I will show you the Not Forgotten. This was a pain in a butt and a half quest to get. You have to be legend rank on comp in order to have this one. So as you can tell, yes, it has better range stats. It has slightly less stability and less handling, but who cares? The Not Forgotten and Luna's Howl was ridiculous, especially with Magnificent Howl prop. So thank goodness the two of you are sunsetted it for good. Next up is Redrick's Broadsword. Now this one brought up, the messenger with Desperado? Yeah, the Redrick's Broadsword started all up. This one, Desperado, what it does is reloading after a precision final blow increases your rate of fire and does not take damage reduction. No damage decrease for increasing your rate of fire. Here. So you can imagine how ridiculous it sounds with the Redrick's Broadsword. Basically, but sadly for me, I do not like the sights of this pulse rifle. As you can tell, these two sight of lines, I feel like they are in the way too much for me to even concentrate the firing of it. Yes, I have this Redrick's Broadsword back in the time, but it's pretty much now. Now the messenger has Desperado, which makes it Redrick's Broadsword maybe transferable to the messenger. Yeah. So Redrick's Broadsword, I don't miss you, but however, you are sunsetted. Oh boy, the big guns. Mountaintop. Golly, why did they invent this gun? And it's a lightweight frame grenade launcher. Already has hard launcher. What? It has hard launcher, spike grenade, but you can even increase the blast radius if you want. Spike grenades, rangefinder, and the signature ability was signature trait micro missile. This weapon fired in a straight line and has a massively increased projectile speed. This was ridiculous. I remember getting across the map by the mountaintop. So hard. When Shadowkey came out, what was they thinking? The meta was all about the Nari Hunger and Mountaintop. Oh boy. I'll have nightmares for days with mountaintops, and probably that's what I get for not getting the mountaintop. But seeing it sunsetting, yeah, thank goodness you are sunsetted. Next up is probably my favorite Pinnacle weapon, the Recluse. It has Master of Arms. It kills with any weapons, improves its weapon damage for a short time. Now, this SMG was ridiculous. It can work with any other gun. Any guns that you kill can trigger Master of Arms, even if it's stowed away. It was crazy. Now, combination with the pre-patch one-eye mask, and yes, I'm going to mention the one-eye mask in this video too, because back in Forsaken, it was the Terminator era, which means, yep, one-eye mask that we regrettably use. That we endlessly regrettably use. And it was killing. And I'm about to say, this SMG was a killer. But thank goodness it was sunsetted. Now, Revoker. Now, this is a legendary version of the Icebreaker. Oh boy. Reversal of Fortune. Miss a shot, returns the bullet into the magazine after a short duration. You can just miss a shot and to basically get a bullet back. That is an Icebreaker pulling. I don't think we don't need to go back to year 3 where everyone was using Icebreaker of all things because of the special ammo economy nerfed. When they introduced this one, I got this weapon and oh boy, I felt like I was it doesn't really take skill to truly use a sniper. Because it has everything. Yes, it has low handling, but it has snapshot to make it up everything and then put counterbalance on it. Oh boy, it was a pain in the butt and a half to fight against. But jeez Louise, thank goodness you are sunsetted. Hopefully they don't introduce you again. Next up is just the 2 ritual weapons. Now the point of the stack almost got sunsetted, but I might pick it up maybe later on. Randy's throwing knife. Now, people are just gonna say, well, it's just the scout rifle of all things, right? It's actually a good scout rifle because you have rapid hit. You only need snapshot and kill clip most of the time. It doesn't have a signature. It doesn't have like a good signature trait like it has with others. But unfortunately, I couldn't get my hands to it. But unfortunately, it is sunsetted, so I'm not really too worried about it. Next up is the Komodo. Again, a ritual weapon. And, you know, most likely people are going to be sticking to their Lunatau and Not Forgottens and Mountaintops. And speaking of Mountaintops, they took it into a raid and completely melt the boss with the Mountaintop. Now, point of the stag, I do want to point it out. It's actually a really good Iron Banner. It's really good Iron Banner bow use. And I originally like it and I put it in a vault, but I do want to pick it up someday. But for now, it has infinite power, so I might pick it up later on. Maybe can someone take me to the Grandmaster of Nightfall or something like that instead of doing raids of all things, please. Next up is the Gambit Weapons. Now, the Breakneck, it has a unique trait. It has Rampage, yes. Now, when Rampage is up, it has Onslaught. This weapon's rate of fire increases as you stack rampage. But unfortunately, originally, when you increase the rate of fire, it decreases the damage. It making it the same as the 750 RPM weapons. And then they changed it. I wish this gun was a little bit more longer, otherwise it would have been my favorite, one of my favorite auto rifles other than the Half-Dan D, but unfortunately, you are sunsetted, buddy. Next up is the 21 Delirium. Now, the 21 Delirium is basically overflow. It's the overflow trait with Killing Tally. Killing with this weapon is this damage kills increases weapon damage until it is stowed or reload. So until you reload or anything or stowed it away, it will get rid of the damage bonus. This is probably the only LMG that is satisfying to go grab and start melting the bosses with ease with 21 Delirium. Oh boy, but the magazine is so big and it's a 900 RPM, so you know how it's gonna go. It's probably like a mini Rampage, or it's like a mini Rampage but Killing Tally on it until you stow it away or reload. Yeah, 21 Delirium, you are awesome LMG, however you are sunsetted. Next up is the Hush, and oh man, if I pick up the Hush, it's over. Here, basically it's signature trait Archer's Gambit. Hip fire precision hits grants a massive draw speed bonus to a short duration. However, not much. It is solar, and probably if it wasn't sunsetted, maybe I would have used this bow more often. And the funny fact is, there's a YouTuber named The Hush. It sounds interesting, right? The Hush's bow, I would say. But however, it is sunsetting. Next up is the Python. I'll get to the SMG in a moment. The Python. This is nothing much of a shotgun. You know, most people are just gonna stick with, the Dust Rock and the Mindbender's Ambition back in the day, or even Last Man Standing. This one on the other hand is more of a PvE weapon, but who knows? But however, unfortunately, it is sunsetted. Next up is the exit strategy. And probably the only exit strategy I enjoy. It is mainly a ritual weapon. It has Swashbuckler Underdog, but you only need a threat detector, Swashbuckler, or Surrounded. Surrounded most likely in PvE, then Swashbuckler in PvP. However, I didn't really like this one. You know, most of the people are gonna pick Recluse out of this extra strategy, just never ending loop. However, it is sunsetted. Probably if it wasn't sunsetted, it will probably give this gun a go. Alright, Vanguard Weapons. Now, started with the weaker ones, the Buzzard. Now, this one was unique. It was a unique sidearm, but it's not much. Osmosis, and then four times of the charm is on the sidearm. But Outlaw and Swashbuckler is good either way. But either way, this weapon is sunsetted, unfortunately. Next up is Edge's Wise. Well, a simple 900 LMG. It has Feeding Frenzy, it has Field Prep, and Demolition. But you're most likely gonna want a Rampage on this baby, right? Sadly, it's just a ritual weapon, and it's not much of a bigger pop. We're most likely going to be using the 21 Delirium of all things, right? So, sadly, this one's sunsetted. Next up is the loaded questions, the beginning of the reserve burst. Sadly, this is not much of a big pop too. It's not really too big of a game changer right now. Hell, reserve burst is buffed of when the battery is full, your next burst deals an additional damage and causes enemies to explode on death. But it's not really worth it in PvP though. It's more likely worth it in PvE, so unfortunately it is sunsetted. And then you got Nightshade, one of my favorite Vanguard pulse rifles. Oh man, I wish they reissued you back, man. And you are a fun pulse rifle, a fun lightweight frame pulse rifle, man. Other than the half dandy, but right now you are sunsetted. Next up, Phazon's and favorite Pinnacle weapon, the Oxygen, the signature of Dragonfly. Hey, Dragonfly deals more damage based on a number of hits, precision hits beforehand. So basically, you just need to equip the Dragonfly spec and basically let her rip with precision hits. It was actually a very good scout rifle. Even I used it sometimes, but you know, most people are going to stick to, you know, their husband and wife, Luna's Howl, Not Forgotten, Recluse, Mountaintops. You get what I'm saying? But sadly, Bursa will miss you. You are forever sunsetted. And last but not least, the Wendigo. This one with explosive light. Picking up orbs of power increases the next projectile blast radius and damage. This one, the people were rejoices. This one finally gives a boon to PvE and even PvP, I would say. It got blinding grenades and even explosive light on. So this with explosive light absolutely melted raid bosses. Back in the time. The Wendigo is so good actually. Actually to melt bosses either way. But unfortunately, you are sunsetted. And speaking of sunsetting, I do like to give an honorable mention to my favorite weapons. If you have a favorite weapons, type it in. I would say, where's my baby? The half dandy. Yeah. I wish if weapon crafting are in the right place, man. Trust me, I will use you forever. However, you are sunsetted. Rest in peace, Halfdan. Until you are reissued, I will get you again. So, I might ask you this question. How can you really balance weapons out, or even balance armor art? You can't really buff other weapons or expected to buff hand cannons or expected to buff, you know, LMGs if Pinnacle Weapons and even Ritual Weapons were in the way. And you know Bungie's final solution would have been nerfing guns to the ground, but you know they learned a lesson from nerfing things to the ground. So what was their final solution? We sunset everything. We sunsetted everything in Shadowkeep. Probably, and think Bungie was worried about armors being too good, and we might never let go to our high stated boost armor, so they decided to sunset that one too, which kind of ticks off a lot of us. Maybe if Bungie decided to say, hey, and you know, these guns, these ritual guns, and even the Pinnacle Weapons are too good, they messed up the balancing, so we're just gonna sunset them, right? Probably if Bungie decided to sunset those, maybe they wouldn't not get that much backlash. So there you have it. Those are the main reasons why crap just got sunsetted. So if you guys enjoy, and I will see you next time. Hopefully we're not sunsetted in general. The same goes with an exotics. And signing out.